bouncing and 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 bouncing.
Welcome to Educated Bowlers, Marshall's only adult program. We'd like to address first the article in the Independent on May 9th, wherein, let me sum up the article for you. It was discovered that we are limited, the city is limited by the First Amendment, and cannot therefore censor us without shutting down public access altogether, in which case they'd have to take off all the religious programs, which are on full public access and can't be aired anywhere else. And so so they're in a bind. They can't censor us. Damn. Okay, next point. The article mentions that we're SSU professors. Totally irrelevant. The issues that are being covered in the story are issues of, does an American citizen have the right to go on public access television or to go anywhere in a public forum and say what they want to say what they're thinking. Yes, they have that right. Doesn't matter where you work. Where you work, totally irrelevant. The only thing we can think of is that it's being brought up to put a kind of pressure on the university to step in and censor us. Do you have a clue about what a university is? A university is a place where people do speak what they think, and the First Amendment is the core of the university. So stop. We're bowlers. Refer to us as bowlers. It's irrelevant where we work. Next, the idea that a staff member at Studio 8 did perform the illegal act, shut off the. Yeah, they did in a way, but they were the ones who stopped it. But that it was their idea. No, it wasn't their idea. Somebody called in, some big shot from the community called in and told them to take it off. And the staff member explained that it was illegal. The big shot said, I don't care, take it off. We got the story on what really happened. If there is really some staff member at Studio 8 who did this, there are only a few people who work there. We could find out who it is. Who is it? Who did it? I think that it would be better if the big shot who actually did it stepped up to the plate and admitted, oh, okay, I did this illegal thing. I'm the censor. Don't be embarrassed. Next, we have Bob Burns. Mayor Bob Burns said that he hesitated to talk about the cable program, which received complaints, flood of 3 complaints, alarming flood, because it was embarrassing for the community and those involved. Here's a good question. Have you seen the show, Mayor? Here's another. What exactly is embarrassing for the community? And does he mean those involved in the show or those involved in the community, Mr. Sturrock and all? We suspect he must mean the latter, as it is only the community and or its officials who have done anything embarrassing. Why should the community be embarrassed? My first answer is that they shouldn't be. I know a lot of people in Marshall and they seem quite likable. They go to work, come home, party, play sports. They're good people, great place to live. Why should they be embarrassed? The only thing I can think of is that sometimes people in Marshall are a little apathetic, and when someone stands up and is an opponent to the First Amendment and is totally out of line and does some illegal thing, they should probably stand up. But they're not. You shouldn't be embarrassed for people at Marshall, Mayor. Now, for Mr. Sturrock, should you be embarrassed for him? Yeah, probably. Yeah, good. Yeah. As for the idea that the mayor may have asserted that he was embarrassed about the many people involved in the making of Educated Bowlers, many more than 3, by the way, we did consider this, but it makes no sense. To exercise one's First Amendment rights, is this in itself embarrassing? Obviously not. To be an adult and to discuss adult matters, is this embarrassing? Not at all. To speak intelligently and playfully, meaning to provoke ourselves and our audience in such a way that we and they feel alive. Is this embarrassing? Heck no. Television's been doing it for years, and before that, theater and literature and music and every other art form under the sun. To express a worldview that challenges the view of most of a town. I don't know that we do this, but is this embarrassing? No way. It's a service. To capture and to bring to light certain realities that are not usually allowed to come to light. Is this embarrassing? No, it's the whole point of public access television for adults. Enjoy the show, folks.
Coming on.
I mean, always. I just wonder why
We're so sorry. Studio 8, forgive us. We're fuck-ups. Last week, we, Joe, actually, fucker, he, wrote something in the paper where he, said that you censored us again, but, you didn't censor us last week. We were on last week, and it was our just fear that we would be censored again, because we were censored the week before. Not by you, by some power that be or whatever. We know you didn't really censor us, so peace out. We love you, Studio 8. Keep rocking the free world!
Back in midget wrestling.
Dear rude bowlers.
What bowlers?
Rude bowlers.
Rude bowlers.
Stop making fun of this Bicey, whoever he is. You show great heartlessness to make jokes out of the heartbreak of syphilis. Signed, a recovering detractor. Well, Mr. Recovering Detractor, first of all, this is Bicey. Behold, Bicey.
Behold the face of syphilis.
Bicey's gonna do a PSA for syphilis for like a... When we're watching an NBC sitcom, you can just, you know, there'll be a commercial and then suddenly Bicey will turn up.
So do you have a hole in your brain or something?
Much like Bob Dole, I'm the Bob Dole of syphilis.
So do you take Viagra for that?
I haven't tried.
Or is that what got you the syphilis?
At this
in the
point,
first
I
place?
try practically anything.
How did you get it?
Nobody knows. I don't think they've discovered it.
Not even your doctor? That children can be a definite number. If you're talking about number of people in a room, you can have children who are that.
Right. I mean, if the children, that definite number you're talking about, I mean, you can't really put it up against sort of the how many smokers are in America. I mean, it's just impossible.
Well, you're bringing up the whole health thing. As far as the health thing goes, I think it's like, it's mostly like how good do you feel, you know? And if you're talking about feeling good, then you're mostly talking about a kind of a...
Yeah, I mean, it's one way to put it, but I mean, if you don't have the wedge going up onto the, I mean, coming out of the sand, there's no way you're going to make that lip and, you know, at least put yourself in a place where you can power. I mean, it's impossible. I don't know where the fuck you come from.
Yeah, there are so many codes. I mean, frankly, if we want to talk codes, there are so many nowadays, especially since the whole retirement of the older people thing.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the whole argument with McDonald's. I mean, it's like, well, are we using beef flavored oil or are we using totally vegetarian oil? I mean, that whole thing just got blown out of proportion. I mean, McDonald's doesn't make their coffee that hot.
Right. Or, I mean, same thing with, hey, pass me the drugs. Or, hey, I need a shot. Or, turn it up. Hey, you know, like the beginning of that Leonard Skinner thing. Turn.
So, why are you filming?
Why don't you show him a little something special?
A little something, something.
Give him a little taste.
Something. First one's free. You know, there's all these TV shows where they have these sort of special moments, like, you know, like lesbians kissing or something like that, or celebrity boxing, or, I don't know, people spanking Gary Coleman or something like that. But and they present these shows as, you know, first of all, you know, as you know, adult shows or whatever, and they say that they're water cooler shows. But you know, the fact of the matter is, I've never had a conversation with anyone around a water cooler, and never even had the opportunity to do so. So they don't really say what you should do if you've watched one of these shows, and then you don't have a water cooler to gather around the next morning. I'm fighting terrorism by refusing to acknowledge the role of U.S. policy in the creation of terrorism.
Osama bin Laden came into the spar right now.
Osama bin Laden.
Shut up. I would fucking run up to that motherfucker and choke his ass. Right now.
He's not like, he doesn't usually come to the Eagles, so.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, he used to be a regular. I saw him here all the fucking time. I used to see him here every fucking day.
I think he's been seen at Pappy's,
But
though,
ever since
Thursday
that
night.
shit went down, he hasn't been around.
What about Pappy's? Is he ever over at Pappy's or?
Sometimes
If
he
he was
is.
at Pappy's, I would fucking do the same thing.
Nah, man, he'll hide out in Pappy's.
What if he was dancing though?
Fuck the bouncers, dude.
He will.
Yeah.
I've seen him there. Stroking his beard. It's like, yeah.
Well, a lot of the young women at SSU have been talking about, you know, they get home with somebody and then they realize that it's Bin Laden. Yeah. But so we're gonna have a lot of his spawn.
And Marshall. Go ahead.
Well, you're hoping I don't skip it.
Yeah, don't fucking hit me in the head. Oh.
So anyway, I need some help making a decision.
This one came from Wenderoth for Life. Wenderoth Superfan at hotmail.com. Sounds like Bicey, really. Could be Bicey, but it could be a fan, so I'll read it. Joe, gotta say I'm a big fan of the show. Love it. Keep up the good work. I got a question for you. Who would win in a wrestling match? Your chubby sidekick or Kolnick, the Aztec Jew? Oh, and another thing, you should find a more happening party, and I would think you could get a better-looking dance partner. When is the next show? Well, the next show is you're looking at it. So it's every Thursday evening at 10:30. It's a truly super fan. Got another one. This one goes, Dear Chufflavers, the guy in the yellow shirt, the guy who talks all the time, his hair needs cutting. Beyond that, the show rocks. Layla and Tracy. Well, Layla and Tracy, I was wearing the yellow shirt last time, as you'll recall. And so I went out and I got my hair cut. And I hope that you like it. Email we got goes, Educated Bowlers. What you fail to understand is that you are glorifying a drug addiction, alcoholism. Teens watch foolish blowhards like you and think that drinking is where it's at. If you notice, there are no drunks being drunk on TV. Thus, your argument against censorship misses the mark. Get a clue. John H. Well, John, while it may have helped you if I'd have read the part about acting, you know, last show, so that you realized that we weren't actually drunk, that we were, it's all acting, John. But even if it wasn't acting, even if we were drunk, and there are people who get drunk, even in Marshall, I've seen this happen.
What are you doing?
On a rare occasion. In fact, I have a theory about the whole bar scene, that this is how they survive. Bars, is that they're looking, people go in there to drink. I mean, there's great food in these bars in Marshall, but I think people go there to drink. But anyway, the whole point about, you know, people shouldn't want to get drunk, etc. Then the second thing that John needs to understand is that life is not a good thing. Life is not like a nice, good thing, which, you know, you're born into it and you decide, hey, it's great, I'll